All right, this week we're gonna go over a deadlift tip, and this tip is gonna help you execute your setup a lot better so the weight feels even lighter, which is what we always want, right? But the nice thing about this tip is it will work on a straight bar, but it will also work on a trap bar if that's what you're choosing to use. Either one is perfectly fine. And the cue is going to be getting away from the bar. So I'll show you that in a second. But the nice thing about this cue, it usually allows the person to brace a little better when I do this with clients, right? So instead of having to worry about a brace up top, it creates a brace in the bottom position right away, because we start to just feel the weight. We start to accept the load of the bar just a bit before we break the floor. The other part is it just usually puts the hips in a really good position before you leave the floor. Some people have a hard time finding where their hips should be either too low or too high. Usually if we get away from the bar, the hips will just end up in a really nice position. So normal setup to the bar, whatever that is for you. We can cover a full setup another day, but we're gonna hinge to the bar, and I just wanna get nice and long, right? I wanna think I'm getting away from the bar, right? So how far can I get my upper body away from the bar, right? And you can see I start to pull that bar off the floor as I do that, because I start to take the slack out bar, and you'll hear a little click in the bar when it hits the top part of the inside of the weight, right? We'll hear that little click. That's what we want, because we want to pull slack out of the bar. It will keep us from like over tensing our bar or our body, right? Some people, they start to have this like slight elbow bend. They start to like imagine the weight a little too much. They get too psyched up and they pull from this position of like elbows bent. We don't want that. They're also usually in this poor upper body position too, where the chest is just a bit too rounded. And sometimes the hips will be like too low, right? So if we get long from the bar, my hips will usually end up in a good position, my upper body is in a good position, and now I can pull, and I've already accepted the weight. I already have that slight brace going on before I leave the floor, because now I have to accept the load before I even break off from the ground. So that's this week's tip, is just get away from the bar and then